Hey y'all, so today let's talk about secrets of moon magic. Um, and I'm going to be talking about moon magic in terms of um, timing your spells and tapping into the energies of the moon phase uh, and the moon sign. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the moon element as well. Now, let me begin this by saying that whether you practice Wicca, witchcraft, hoodoo, folk magic, voodoo, what have you, I can't think of any magical system or tradition that has not worked with the moon and the moon phases at some point. I do know that there are some root workers who say that they don't really pay attention to the moon phase in their work, and that's a personal choice whether to work with moon phases or not. But that energy is there and available to you if you want to do it. Me personally, I feel that the best time to cast a spell is in the now, in the moment, when you just everyone has experienced that, where you're filled with this sense of power and empowerment. And it may not be the right moon phase, it may not be the right day of the week, it might be the wrong hour of the day for whatever, but you just feel powerful, and that is the moment to cast a spell. I know that back home in South Carolina, we have a lot of thunderstorms with lightning and rain, and I always found those times to be very empowering for me. Those were great times to, cast spells during a thunderstorm or a lightning storm, or when the rain is just pouring down. Um, Here in Washington, where I live, it does rain a lot. It rains more in the winter than it does in the summer, but it's more of a weak rain. It doesn't just pour, pour, pour. It's just sort of more of a steady drip. And I've rarely seen any thunder or lightning here in the 15 years that I lived here. But we do have windstorms here. Very first week I moved here, windstorm knocked out the power in the middle of winter, and I remember huddling up on the floor in a sleeping bag, freezing my ass off because we moved here, but we didn't get the moving truck didn't get here yet. I also remember a couple years ago when my car had died and I was taking the bus to and from work. I was coming home on a Friday, and it was a windstorm was coming, and I remember walking from the bus stop to my apartment, feeling that wind whip around me and my body, and it was very empowering. And that was the moment that I felt the same sense of empowerment during this windstorm that I had felt back home during a thunderstorm. So I've had to adjust here in Washington and learn to tap into the energy of the wind rather than the electrical energy of the lightning and the thunder. So let's start with moon phases. Moon phases are really easy. There are up to 8 moon phases, but I tend to work with new, waxing, full, waning. A lot of people call the new moon when there's no moon in the sky. That's really the dark of the moon. The dark of the moon is a good time for withdrawing into yourself, introspection. This is a good planning period where you want to, think about what you want to do before the new moon. Think about what you want to accomplish and make your plans. It's also a good time for cursing enemies, retributive justice, things like that. Now, the new moon is actually when you see the first little sliver of moon in the sky. And a new moon is good for drawing anything new into your life, initiating any type of project. This is the beginning. This is step one before the period of planning. Now, when the moon is going from new to full, that's called the waxing moon. And the waxing moon is good for growing things, making more. So while, maybe you have some money, you want to make your money grow. While you have love, you want to make money grow. And you want to make things grow and make it come to you. Now, the full moon is basically a white candle, a blank slate. You can do anything your little heart desires during a full moon. And I was taught that you can access full moon energy anywhere from 3 days before to 3 days after the full moon. So that gives you a 7-day period right there. And what that allows you to do is to tap into the energies of the days of the week, Sunday through Saturday. And each of the days of the week have their own planet assigned to them or associated with them, planetary energy that you can match up to just about any goal that you have. I'm not going to get into the days of the week in this video. I may do that in a future video. Then the waning moon occurs when the moon's going from full to new, and it's shrinking. So that's when you want to make something less. You want to make something shrink. You want to make it go away. Let's say you want bad health to go away. You can also work with the waxing moon and the waning moon using the theory of opposites or the law of opposites. So for example, let's say you need money. Everybody needs money, right? So during the waxing moon, you would work on making money come to you and making it grow. During the waning moon, you would work on making your debts shrink, making your bills go away. So it's the same goal that you're approaching from two different sides. So that is the moon phases. The next thing I want to talk about is the moon signs. And you all know that there are 12 signs in the zodiac. And the moon moves through them at a rate of about one in every 1.5 days or so. So the moon has a sort of a 28.5 day moon cycle. And it'll stay in a sign anywhere from 1.5 to maybe 2 days. And each of the signs of the zodiac are associated with a part of the body. I know that in the South, back home, we had an almanac in the kitchen, and they used to talk about, I was raised by my grandparents who were both working on farms, and they used to talk about, oh, the moon's in the neck, the moon's in the bowels, the moon's in the knees, or what have you, and what that meant. So, for example, they say that when the moon is in the head, meaning Aries, you don't get a tooth pulled because there's a possibility that you can bleed to death. Or you wean a child when the moon is in the knees, meaning Capricorn. So there's all these different things you can do when the moon is in a certain sign of the zodiac. Meaning, you know, castrate a bull, canned vegetables, things of that nature. But there's also magical things that you can do when the moon is in the different signs. And I'm going to run through them real quick. We're going to start with Aries. Aries is traditionally the first sign of the zodiac, even though it's sort of a circle. You can start anywhere you want to, but most people start with Aries. And Aries also lines up with the first house in the natural chart. There are 12 signs, 12 houses. Aries represents the head, and Aries is good for initiating any action because, again, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's for new beginnings, confronting things. You can get in somebody else's head and control and dominate people, control situations, and break bad habits. Next, we have Taurus, and Taurus rules the neck. And Taurus is good for money matters, planning long-range goals, because Taurus is very patient and determined. You want Taurus energy when you have a goal that's going to need you to be stubborn and not give up, and you're going to play the long game. Taurus is also good for public speaking, having dental work done, putting up preserves. Gemini rules the arms, and Gemini is good for any type of intellectual pursuit, reading, writing, research, journalism. It's also good for juggling tasks, multiple tasks, multitasking, travel, and protection, especially protection while traveling. Next, we have Cancer. Cancer rules the chest, or the heart. And the chest. Cancer's all good about attending to family and home matters, weddings, signing agreements, things of that nature. Next, you have Leo, and Leo is actually the heart. Leo is good for tapping into creativity, protecting those around you that you care about, your lover, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children. It's good for making a large purchase or doing things that you want to last. You want to have lasting results. Virgo is associated with the bowels. Virgo is good for organizing your life, your workspace, your home space. It's good for analyzing information and data. It's good for getting a job, healing, breaking bad habits. Good time to buy medicine, have a checkup, and work on healing yourself and also healing your pets or your familiars. Libra is associated with the kidneys, and Libra is good for partnerships of all kind, romantic, platonic, sexual, business, what have you. It's good for spells and workings for marriage, creativity, socializing, diplomacy. When you have to go in and talk to your boss about a raise, try to do it when the moon is in Libra. When you want to sit down and talk to your romantic partner about the relationship, do it when the moon is in Libra. Libra is also a good time for writing contracts, signing contracts, things of that nature. Scorpio rules the genitals. So Scorpio is good for research, investigation, developing your psychic abilities, divination. It's also good when you want to do spells to draw sex, to have more sex, to seduce someone, lust. It's also a good time if you're want to buy an antique that you want, maybe you're a dealer or you just want to decorate your home. That's a good time to buy antiques. Sagittarius rolls the thighs. It's all about expanding the mind, freedom from just whatever holds you back, freedom, getting outside of your comfort level. It's also a good time to begin an exercise program, get up, move in your body, things like that. It's also good for spiritual pursuits that will help you expand your spirituality. It's a good time to travel, meet new people, go to new places that you've never been before. Capricorn is associated with the knees, and Capricorn is about pursuing your ambitions, pursuing your goals. It's also a good time to work on spells and rituals or just mundane things that'll help you practice more self-control, protect yourself, organize your life, get your priorities in order, and focus on your career. This is another sign that's really good for long-term goal planning and breaking down those a big goal into smaller goals that ultimately lead to that one big goal. Aquarius is associated with the legs, and it's a good time for, when the moon is in Aquarius, it's a good time for focusing on friendships, associations, organizations that you are a part of. Let's say you want to join a charity organization. When the moon's in Aquarius, this is a good time to really look into doing things like that. Aquarius is also another good time to tap into your own sense of individuality, your own sense of originality, and also, socializing with people who have a common goal as you. And finally, we come to Pisces. Pisces is associated with the ankles. And Pisces is really good for withdrawing into yourself, practicing self-care. This is a good time to perform a spiritual bath. Just hop in that tub like a little fish. Banishing negativity, getting rid of the evil eye, protecting yourself from other people's emotions, especially if you're someone who has the gift of empathy or believe you may be empathic. When the moon is in Pisces, this is a good time to just set aside time for you. Don't focus about other people's problems or emotions or whatever. This is a good time to check in with you, balance your own emotions, balance your chakras, cleanse your aura, and really practice your spirituality and practice self-care. Okay, so that's the moon in the signs. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the moon element. And so, just like I said that the moon travels through the 12 signs of the zodiac, each of those signs of the zodiac is associated with an element. They are broke down into fire signs, earth signs, air signs, and water signs. So that's something that you can include in your spell casting, or when you go to work a spell or make a spell. It doesn't always match up the way we want to, but if it's there and you need it, you can draw on it. So when the moon is in a fire sign, that's when you want to work with the element of fire. That means candle magic. You want to work with hot, spicy herbs. If you're have shamanistic leanings to your magic, you can build a bonfire, dance around the fire. If you have a fireplace in your home, you can set up an altar at the fireplace. If it's summer, put a candle or a couple of candles in the fireplace to draw in that fire energy. Earth is associated with the power of dirts. You want to work with roots. These are the part of the plant that grows underground. You want to work with stones, gems, and crystals. You want to work with, I forgot what fire. You want to pull in the energy of color. So fire would be reds, oranges, things of that nature. With earth, you want to pull in green. Also, going back to earth, that also includes the power of talismans. Am I wearing it? Yeah. Sometimes you have these little talismans that are made out of metals and precious metals. I think this one's made out of brass. Sometimes they're made out of pewter, gold, bronze. You can work with jewelry. For example, this is carnelian. This is my carnelian ring. So this is maybe if I'm working with earth, I can work on charging this. And I believe carnelian would be associated with fire. Air, you want to work with herbs that grow above the ground, herbs that stretch toward the sky, vines, anything that grows up tall in the heavens. You want to work with the power of incenses. You want to work with prayers, affirmations. If you're like my Jewish friends who sing their prayers, you can sing your prayers. I know, I'll give you a little quick hint real quick. Sometimes when I'm doing spells, excuse me, say like a candle spell, I'll take this little radio I have and turn on music that gets me in a good mood or a mood associated with the spell. And even when I'm done and I'm leaving the candle to burn, I'll leave that music next to the candle to sort of add power to that spell. Finally, with water, you want to work with herbs that are cool and minty. You can work with floor washes, spiritual bathing, the color blue, things of that nature. So, let's give you an example. I happen to know that today is Friday. Friday is good for money and love, two major things. And I also know that the moon entered Virgo this morning. Virgo is an earth sign. So I'm going to give you two examples of spell work you can do, one for love, one for money, working with the element of earth. So the first spell, let's say for love. Let's say you want to, there's someone you like, and you want them to like you back or love you, or you want them to follow you around. What you want to do is you can take a mojo bag, get you a red mojo bag, and I want you to get the dirt from his or her footprint. Now, this is something you probably just can't run out to your altar and do right now because of the dirt on the footprint, but if you plan ahead, it can be done. I know that getting dirt from someone's footprint might be a little difficult depending on where you live, but there's little tricks you can do. Let's say I live in an apartment building. Let's say there's someone in the building that I find cute, attractive. I might go out there late at night and throw some dirt down by his car door. And then when he leaves in the morning or whatever, he has to walk through that dirt. And then when he leaves, I'll go and make sure I get his dirt from his footprint. That's something you can do. Maybe you live in the country. Maybe you see him at the beach. You can follow him, find his footprint. It can be done. So get that dirt from his footprint, put it in your mojo bag, and you want to add the power of an herb. You might want to use Queen Elizabeth root. Queen Elizabeth root is a root herb. It's the part that grows underground. It is associated with love and love drawing. It's actually considered the most powerful love drawing herb there is. And then if you want to work with a stone, if you're speaking strictly hoodoo, you might want to use a lodestone and sprinkle some magnetic sand on it. And there you got 3 items. You got your dirt, you got your Queen Elizabeth root, and you got a lodestone. Tie that up in your mojo bag and dress it with an appropriate oil. Now for money. Let's say you want to draw money to you. So what you might do is, working with the earth, you might want to get some dirt from your local bank or a business that is very, very successful, that consistently makes a profit and is growing. Get that dirt, and what I do is, when I collect dirt from a place, is I have a sifter, and I run that dirt through a sifter to get out rocks, grass, bits of plant matter, sometimes insects, and I get it to where it's fine, like almost like a powder, depending on where the dirt came from, because not all dirts are created equal. So you want to get that dirt and sift it and make it fine like a powder. If you want to, you can mix some money drawing sachet powder in that, but it's not completely necessary. Get you a candle, and I should have brought one, but y'all seen me do this before. Let's pretend my finger's a candle. This is a green candle. Green is a color associated with earth. You're gonna take and carve a key word on one side of this candle. You might write prosperity or money come to me, whatever it is you want. And then on the back part of the candle, you're going to write your name, Carolina Dean. So you've set your intention into this candle. Now normally, if you're going to dress a candle, you would do towards the center. So from bottom up, tops up to draw something to you, and away from the center to move something away from you. So you'd go center up, center down. But for this candle, you want to get this candle with oil all over. So you're going to put some oil in your hand like this. Then you're going to take that candle in your hand and do it like this. So you get oil all over this candle, right? Then you're going to put that candle in a candle holder, and you're going to take that dirt from the bank, put it in your hand, and you're going to get up close to that candle, and you're going to make your wish, say your prayer or whatever, and then you're going to blow that dirt onto that candle. You may have to blow really hard depending on how fine you got that dirt. And so then that dirt will cling to the oil on that candle. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can pull out your trusty old candle board. If you don't know what a candle board is, look back through my videos. I have a whole video on it. You can, after you oil that candle, you can sprinkle that dirt onto your candle board. You can also add herbs. For example, Irish moss is good for money. I also like to add chamomile flowers to any money drawing formula, because chamomile increases the power of other money drawing herbs. And then what you want to do is take your oiled up candle and roll it towards yourself 3 times, because 3 is the number of manifestation. Roll it towards yourself 3 times through the dirt and herbs, and call money to you. As I roll this candle towards myself, money comes to me in Jesus' name. Then you're going to set that candle up in a candle holder, and you're going to light the candle, and if you have a petition paper or what have you, stick that under the candle, let it burn. down. Anyway, that is all about the secrets of moon magic, of moon phases, moon in signs, moon in elements, and I've given you 2 examples of how to pull in the energy of the element, one for doing a love spell, one for doing a money spell. Anyway, it's Friday, and until I see you all again, have a great day. Goodbye.